This 22-year-old Kevin Costner Western features some of the most realistic shootouts ever. As Clint Eastwood started to take a step back from the Western genre after 1992's Unforgiven, Kevin Costner stepped in as the new face of the genre. After starring in 1985's Silverado, he went on to direct and star in the 1990 epic Dances with Wolves. While those two tend to be his best-known westerns, an underrated 2003 cowboy movie gave the star one of his greatest stories, and it features some fantastic shootouts. Just as Clint Eastwood took over from John Wayne as the face of the western genre after The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, so too did Costner take over from Eastwood in the 90s. As the Dirty Harry star was making his magnum opus with Unforgiven, Costner lined up a slew of western projects. While some of these were enormously successful, like Dances with Wolves, his portrayal of Wyatt Earp in the 1994 film of the same name was a spectacular flop as Tombstone overshadowed it. Today, Costner continues to use the Western brand for his career through projects like Yellowstone, Horizon, An American Saga, and The Highwayman. As great as his 1990 box office phenomenon might be, traditional Western fans might enjoy his 2003 cowboy revenge film far more. Kevin Costner tried to keep Westerns great. The star took control of his Western projects. Unlike other genres, the Western genre seems to fare best when it has a star or a director who can be the face of the Old West. Between the 1940s and 60s, Hollywood had a wealth of visionaries to represent it, but it's hard to deny that John Wayne was the personification of the Hays Code-era cowboy. However, as the star aged, his health waned and audience tastes changed, Clint Eastwood emerged as the new Hollywood gunslinger. Taking on darker, more morally ambiguous roles than the typical Wayne character, his westerns were as brilliant as they were controversial. At one time, it seemed impossible for the Dollars trilogy star to miss at the box office. However, as Eastwood himself started to age, it was tough for him to keep returning to the same gritty, rugged gunfighter character that had built his career. The same year, he made his penultimate gunslinger film, Pale Rider. Kevin Costner had his first Western with 1985's Silverado. Directed by Lawrence Kasdan, the film is a combination of all the best cowboy tropes and archetypes, making for a fun Wild West adventure. When Eastwood made his final traditional Western, Unforgiven, it came just 2 years after Costner helmed his own frontier epic, Dances with Wolves. Just as his predecessor had taken the reins of all of his Western films, so too did The Bodyguard star. This led to what some historians have dubbed the greatest cowboy film of all time, Open Range. It should be noted that, despite Costner's best efforts, the last 3 decades of the Western have actually shown the genre can be a hit without a single big star. Whether it was Jamie Foxx headlining the record-setting Django Unchained or the Coen brothers' adaptation of True Grit, the genre has proven its ability to make money without a figurehead. Instead, directors like James Mangold and Quentin Tarantino have emerged as versatile creators capable of bringing the Wild West to success through more cinematic, star-studded modern action films. Open Range is a fantastic frontier revenge story. Kevin Costner made up for Wyatt Earp's flop. Open Range casts Costner in the role of Charlie Waite, a cowboy on a cattle drive with his friend, Boss Spearman. They're accompanied by 2 younger cattlemen, Mose and Button, played by a young Diego Luna, as they near the small town of Harmonville, Montana. When Mose doesn't return from a trip into town, Charlie and Boss head in to find him, learning that he's been jailed by the town's crooked marshal, Poole, who does the bidding of a powerful cattle baron, Denton Baxter. Resenting the cattlemen's free grazing practices, Baxter gives them until night to leave the land. However, seeking medical assistance from the town doctor, they're unable to leave and catch some of the baron's men near their camp. When they find Mose shot dead and Button gravely wounded, they return to town, seeking refuge with the local doctor, Doc Barlow. With their friend recovering, Charlie begins a romance with the doctor's sister, Sue. With vengeance on their minds, Charlie and Boss set about taking the fight to Baxter, beginning with the imprisonment of Poole's deputies. Using his past skills as a specialized soldier in the Civil War, Charlie manages to get the drop on the corrupt marshals, and the 2 men prepare for the inevitable showdown with Baxter's small army. As teams of gunmen come after them, The heroes use cover and their skills as marksmen to gain the advantage, gunning down everyone the crook sends after them. After cutting their way through the marshals and hired guns, Boss manages to empty his revolver into a cowering Baxter, asking him if his death was worth killing a man for a few cows. With the town liberated and Button on the mend, the two men decide to settle down, allowing Charlie to pursue his romance. Open Range indulges all gunfighter fans. Its action sequences are epic and realistic. When it comes to the final battle, Open Range manages to have its cake and eat it too on the action front. On the one hand, it's a genuinely epic shootout, one that, despite its drive for realism, features Costner fanning his gun for an impossible number of shots, something the star just wanted to do. On the other hand, it nails the fast-paced, chaotic, but imperfect nature of a gun battle in the Old West. Neither the heroes nor villains are crackshot marksmen like the man with no name, and the limited accuracy of the weapons of the time is shown to perfection. Neither Boss nor Charlie are impervious to bullets and, like in the real West, take their fair share of shrapnel during the fight and miss most of their shots. One of the things to note about Open Range is how quick yet detailed and well-filmed the shooting sequences are. While the actual battle itself rages on for the better part of 30 minutes in the film, the individual fights are over quickly. When the heroes want to ensure a man dies, as does Charlie when avenging Mose, they make sure they have a close enough distance to make a clean shot. While there are instances of Hollywood logic, the movie largely captures the imperfection, inaccuracy, confusion, and chaos that would have, and the minimalist use of music makes it feel all the more real. The filmmaker's use of slow-motion shots and close-ups to highlight the impact of the shooting ensures an intense experience. Here, the audience is shown every splinter, hit, and miss, ensuring a comprehensive battle, rather than the choppy, incoherent editing of lesser movies. It isn't just the shooting that's accurate. The movie has been praised by Western experts. While the ending gunfight is one of the things for which Open Range is best known, it's far from the only thing. At every level, the film tries to present its audience with a more grounded, subdued look at the Old West, from its look at life driving cattle across open country to small details like trading the classic saloon doors for more accurate conventional ones. Despite its great action sequences, the film doesn't try and be just another shoot 'em up spaghetti western. Instead, the West it shows its audience is a much more realistic, period-accurate setting, even if viewers might be primed to expect something different. In addition, with the word cowboy thrown around the West, it's refreshing to see the term applied correctly to genuine cattlemen. The dialogue is also a crucial part of the immersion of Open Range, as the film's writer, Craig Storper, adapting Lauren Payne's novel The Open Range Men, fills it with realistic speech. It doesn't ham up the Western jargon and slang the way a John Wayne film would, but it ensures that, when Boss and Charlie speak, they sound like authentic cowboys. The set pieces don't try too hard to look old and rustic, instead depicting more modern homes that became typical as the West was settled. After all, the film's 1882 setting calls for a town that feels more established. One of the best parts of the film is its inclusion of a more relatable, genuine romance story, something the genre often underwhelms at if it bothers to explore relationships at all. While the film does have plenty of action, it also isn't afraid to explore a more tender, emotional look at the West, something common to Costner's films. Why Open Range is one of the best westerns since Tombstone. Although Open Range isn't based on a true story, its script, costumes, characters, set pieces, and battle all make for one of the best, most realistic explorations of the West on film to date. Reversing the cowboy-slash-marshal feud that made Tombstone great, it shows the corrupting influence powerful land barons often exerted over the frontier. Thanks to Michael Gambon, the movie has a brilliant villain evocative of classic bad guys like Shane's Rufus Riker and Pale Rider's La Hood. Where many Western movies either rush their action or make it far too realistic, Costner's direction makes for a stunning conclusion that elevates the picture from a strong period piece to a brilliant blend of romance and revenge. The 21st century has been incredibly hit or miss when it comes to great Westerns, especially as the rise of the neo-Western, thanks to Taylor Sheridan, has eclipsed the Old West. Made as a love letter to the romantic side of the genre the film star enjoyed in his youth, the 2003 film is everything a good frontier movie should be. Kevin Costner remains a champion of everything that makes the Western such a great genre, and Open Range stands out as a shining example of realism and his strengths as both actor and director.